Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. I've got a series of questions from people, or from this particular person who just recently joined my quant analytics membership, and I'm going to try to go over them. This guy's pretty enthusiastic with his questions, which is cool. So I decided to share this with everybody and just go over some of the things that we're talking about. Okay, so the main topics that this person wanted to go over was the main question was to analyze econometric or economic data with ETF and stocks, see if there's any correlation with them, and see signals that can be generated from them. Absolutely, yeah. Okay. As you know, I've said this in a previous video that's not up yet. In my Instagram, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I go through Bloomberg News app every day. I'm looking at all universal regions globally, as well as asset classes. And this is also including assets that we as retail traders don't have access to. But we can still watch those particular assets because even though we can't trade them, they're very useful that we can use as market direction for whatever we have access to, specifically forex. Maybe in my case, when I open my Dukas copy, I will go over what I'm planning to do with them. But we can use that data points, which are very powerful. I will put up another video on the report since last Friday on how quant strategies have just got killed since they got killed over the last since 2003. Even Rentec got hammered in last month, and there's reasons for it. I'm going to make a video on that, so keep your eyes up on that on the YouTube channel at quantlabs.net, which is quantlabs. Yeah, user quantlabs. Just do a quantlab search and you'll find it. 1,500 videos waiting for your view. Anyways, let's go back to the questions here. Okay, so that's the overall consensus of this question. So I'm using the Bloomberg for now, which is just generating amazing amount of ideas. Now, there are a few meetups here. Now, he's in Australia. He's saying a few meetups here with algo, but not any ones that are good, and one is a scam. Welcome to the club. I found through a friend who contracted to work there, and it probably is a scam. I don't know. Let's leave names out. I don't need the lawsuits. They charge people around $10K for teaching them, but it's from someone who has no experience. I'm not gonna say. I get these all the time. Okay, so before I go crazy building my own fundamental quant model based on economic data, do you think I should go down that path? If the path is fundamental quant model, absolutely yeah. I'll put up another video on it and explain why I think so-called quote-unquote quant strategies are getting killed. There's a really good reason is because the basic is all these cloud solutions that bring all these so-called strategies together, the hundreds of thousands that they claim they have. And then if they're all participating, they're all copying each other and they all sync, and that drags down the whole scene and the whole industry of quant as a whole. The professionals are still doing fairly well, but I'll do that. I'll go over that in another video. So, for example, one data set, ISM, for manufacturing, analyze correlation with the S&P 500, analyze the time it takes the S&P going some direction as the data. I guess I kind of change some parameters and crunch the data and see the results. So for the site Institute, okay, so this is one of the sources for the Institute Supply and Management for the States. So let's go over there. And what you'll find here is the source that you can get these files, right here. PMI is really the only one. I mean, new orders, production. I mean, this is juicy information on manufacturing and the overall economy in the States. Look, we got direction, growing, too high, increasing, growing. Rate of change. I mean, it's very useful forward-looking information that you can leverage off of and get some very cool stuff. Scrape the site and collect the industry info on growing and contracting and quantify with some weight, similar to Anton's reports. Yeah, Anton, he's a follower and is a a student of Anton Krell and the Institute of Trading, which again, I've done some public opinions on this guy and his course. It's been pretty stellar review, probably my best review from Anton himself. He's just quite the, we'll just leave it, the colorful character that he is. And just leave it at that. Anyways, so Anton's reports in Excel showing the sector. Yeah, you're right. You do the pair trading by sector. It's very powerful. And crunch data with a sector ETF and see if there's any correlation as well. What do you think of that direction? Absolutely. Let me show you a tool that will help you. If you go through my playlist video, or my playlist on my YouTube channel, look for under IQ feed. IQ feed, where are you? There you are. Look for a tool called XLQ. I keep talking about this product. It's awesome. If you watch this video live, you can see what it does. It is very powerful. And it's a great tool. And for $150 or whatever they charge, it's well worth the money from QMatix. And it leverages off of IQ feed. Okay, very powerful. You can look at the markets by sector and do all your analysis within Excel. So you don't have to be a programmer. But I mean, that's for analysis. It's very not simple, but it's a lot simpler than doing crazy hair pulling Java or C++. So yeah, you definitely can go that direction. Okay, my main question was to analyze econometric data with ETF and stocks. Is there any correlation? Well, I think we've talked a lot about it. So I said yes. Now you're just using one data source here. Now, if you want my opinion, there's a lot more than that. A lot more. And I've talked about it. My reports do that as well. If you go into my membership, and I'm going to show this to you as well as my members. Let's see. Okay. So here we are in my back end of my analytics dashboard for the membership I'm talking about. What I'm speaking about is here. If you go under product, and then you just sign up here in the Quant Labs /analytics. Don't ask why that is, but anyways, you can get the info here under quantitative, view courses, boom, and this is what we're talking about here. This membership. But if you go into that back end, once you become a member, which this person is just joined, there's a couple of things. There's econometrics, which we're still working to get access to. But here, even though once we can get this properly fixed, but you can get access to it. I just got as a temporary fix, but we're still working on it. It's a real pain in the butt with the firewall and stuff for the solution, but we're working on it with my vendor for this. Anyways, once we fix it, and ideally, we have here U.S. government manufacturing charts, or Fed charts, or manufacturing charts, European sentiment indicator if you decide to trade the Eurozone. So let's open one up, just see what it involves. So here there's a lot of advantages. So if you download this, and this is for as a sample, I mean I can run this anytime I want, as a sample of February 23rd. Actually, let me think. Okay, so this is what we're talking about as a package. Now I've talked about this in various videos, so I can upload this. So here what we've got are all these different data points that you can use that's from the Fed, meaning here I call it Fed, because here you get all the data. All the data you want, all the different data series, which is free from the government. So you can develop Python scripts or R. I can get access to this freely and download the data for free and access it. The wonky part is that these change all the time, or they get deleted and blah, 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 blah. So you want my honest opinion, if you want a one-stop shop for this type of data, go on tradingeconomics.com. Okay. And the powerful thing is you can do the same thing here from any country in the world. Okay, any pair, any of the major economies. As you can see here, gives you GDP year over year, quarter over quarter, interest rate, inflation, jobless rate, government debt, current account, currency, population. This is very important information that you can use to combine in your analysis on how to get a particular currency bias. And with that currency bias, you can measure that against another currency bias, which becomes your pair. And then you can determine if that pair should go up or down, and you can build forecasting around that. This is the direction I'm planning to go for my forex. Okay, so this is for the forex guys. Now, also, if you are interested in the stock, as I mentioned before, there's XLQ, which is free. Again, you can get the free information here in the channel. If you come under my IQ feed playlist here, my playlist under the youtube.com's Quant Labs, come under IQ feed, come under and just look for XLQ here. So you're wanting to watch this video to understand this product. Very, very, very powerful. Another product I can recommend if you want to do stocks is JStock. Very well, just overall, not just for me, but JStock is everywhere. Lots of people have done demos on it. It's a very powerful piece of software, open source again. When you're a programmer, you have a lot of advantages that most 99% of the population don't have. JStock's a classic example of that. Because it just gives you a snapshot in real time, all the major economies in the world, except I think Japan. But you can get access to any technical indicator. It's a very powerful piece of software. Okay, so just some of the resources out there available to you. But coming back to the membership I do, now you could do this all on your own, which is fine. But what I do is I make it convenient for you because it's all there. And we just download the data and we provide the flat files. And I think there's a report I give too. No, maybe I don't. Anyway, so we have here, you mentioned the the ISM, which I believe is one of these. And this is the raw data. So as an example, just load this puppy up, this PNG. So you can see here, this is right from the Fed. Manufacturing custom inventories index. So this will give you a rough idea. Again, because you get the raw data and it's downloaded for you from the source, the FRED, right here at the St. Louis Fed.org. That's all done for you. And again, that's why the membership exists. That's why people join, is for that convenience. So here we get the GDP of the U.S., the production of different durable goods, non-durable goods, services, retail, building for construction starts, all kinds of lots and lots of different data points that you can use. Okay, now it doesn't stop there. We've got, as I said, in my membership here, okay, so we have the U.S. manufacturing, and then we also have the Euro sentiment indicator, right? So if I download that, now these are just potential reports that I could put up in my membership. It's just what people want and what they want to have access to, because this can overwhelm people, and I want to keep people. I don't want to chase people away because it's too confusing for them, but I can make this available. So here, just as an example, you can do all the same thing with the U.S. but by country, and just come to the Eurostats. So if you go Eurostats Economic Sentiment Indicator and download, you're better off to download and automate the downloading of the spreadsheets, or the worksheets, once you find the proper URLs. And again, these change and can be really painful to maintain. And again, that's why I prefer the trading economics as a data source, and then do the same data analysis as I do with these current reports that I'm using from either the Fed, US Fed, or the Euro stats for the ESIs, the economic sentiment indicators. So you can use these for econometrics, for forward-looking, same data types, and you can do all kinds of analysis and do different weightings, and it's all forward-looking. That's the key, though. Okay, I think I've answered that specifically. Hopefully it answers it just as examples and resources, but my membership does all that anyways. And again, I've shown an example of how powerful this stuff is. If you go into my membership, which I just showed on today, actually, in a video earlier, if you go under my stocks, I put up this just a little while ago concerning why econometric drives markets like on Friday. So as an example, there's a video and then there's reports because of something like jobs added in the last month. What happens to the markets? The markets pop, and that's what drove the markets, nothing else. Okay, so that's why this stuff is very important, because if you measure this, these are the pretty well headline news that, as I said, pushes the markets, okay, and moves the markets, nothing else. Not machine learning, not quant, it's this stuff, fundamental. Okay, and I don't know, people don't agree with it, that's fine. You don't agree with it, but for me, I like making money, and this is what's driving the markets. Okay, so hopefully this will answer this person's questions, and thanks for answering, and I'll just talk to whoever later. Bye. Well, you're just telling me stuff that